What's going on YouTube, and welcome to another GTA 5 online video. So guys, in this video I'm going to give you guys a small guide on the Stockpile adversary mode. So this adversary mode is actually triple cash this week, so I just wanted to give you guys a small guide on it, on how to actually play it, what is actually the best tactic if you play it, and also if it's actually worth your time. So if it's actually worth it, if it actually pays you good money. So as I said, it's a adversary mode, so just go to the adversary mode list, scroll down to the letter S, select Stockpile, whatever one you want. There are 7 stockpiles I think, and just go ahead and launch it. A lot of people are actually playing this, so don't worry about not finding a lobby. So as I said, 7 different ones I think, maybe even more, but I think it's 7. And the difference between all these 7 stockpiles is actually only the plane that you are using and the place on the map where you are playing, and also the obstacles that you have on the place or the spot where you're playing. So besides that, it's actually always the same rules and always the same system. Now you can either do this with 2 teams or 4 teams, or maybe even 3 I think. So the host can actually select that. I think it's 2 to 4 then, so either 2, 3 or 4 teams. The amount of rounds that you have to win per team, so first to win 2 rounds wins the entire match, and that team actually gets a bonus. That's also something that the host can select, of course. And then the round duration standard, it's 5 minutes. Also standard, it's first to win 2 rounds. Now one thing that might be important if you're actually not the host, check actually if the team balancing is on, because if it's off, then people actually make uneven teams just to win, and then it might be really unfair. So check that. I actually played with team balancing off for a while, and that's a reason why I lost a couple of games, but that will actually cost you a lot of money. So make sure that team balancing is on, because let's just say that you're really good and team balancing is off and you're in a team with less players, then it might just be that you're actually better than the other team, but you still lose because you are actually with less people. And it's actually important in this game mode that you have a equal amount of people. So in my first game for Stockpile 1, it was actually 3 teams. So as I said, 2 to 4 teams, so 3 is also possible. And the thing that you have to do with this game mode is just collect the flags or the little cases actually, and bring them back to your home base. And then at the end of the round, so at the end of the 5 minutes, whoever has the most amount of flags in their base actually wins the game. And that's actually pretty simple. You can also steal flags out of other people's bases. So I think in total there are 13 flags in the game, and whoever has the most at the end of the round wins. Or if you actually reach 13 at one moment, you also win the round, I think, but that's actually pretty hard. So at the beginning, all the flags are just randomly in the middle, so just go ahead and steal them from the middle, and after a while all the flags in the middle will be gone, and they will be in all of the teams of all of the separate all of the bases of all of the separate teams, and then you just have to go and steal from the other teams. So in the beginning it's pretty easy to actually steal the flags, because everyone is just focused on getting the flags and getting them back to their base. But after that, they actually start to protect their own base, of course, because you are trying to steal from it, and also they are coming to your base to actually steal your flags as well. So it's important to actually go to the other bases and steal, but it's also very important that you actually protect your own base, kind of. So those are 2 things you actually have to do. Now with the Stockpile 1, you guys can see it, it's the P45 it's called, I think, this plane that you're using. So most of the time it will be a plane that actually has very good handling, because you have to move around a lot. So the planes that you get, so in all of the Stockpile modes, always have homing missiles, always have machine guns, so you can switch between them with the square button on PS4, of course. They always have chaffs or counter missiles as well. I actually prefer the counter missiles. And also one thing, if you're carrying a flag, you actually have a smoke trail behind you like I have right now, so other people will actually know, oh, this guy is actually carrying a flag, or he stole one, so they can actually hunt you. And over here I just got killed. Now the thing with the chaffs is you can't use them as much as you would in free mode. There's actually a cooldown time to use the chaffs and the counter missiles, so you can actually not use them as much as you want. That's also a thing to actually make it a little bit harder. Also the homing missiles aren't that good as they are in online, so they actually don't trace you as well as they would in online, because if they would, then of course it would be a little bit too hard. So as I said, also a smoke trail behind you. This smoke trail is just to alert the other players that you are actually carrying a flag, so it doesn't really help you. So at the end of the round, as I said, the team with the most amount of flags or just cases or whatever in their base actually wins it. Over here it was a sudden death, and at a sudden death, just the first team of the two teams that are winning, whoever gets a package in their base first, or whoever loses a package out of their base actually wins the game. So the first team to actually get a lower or higher score actually wins the round. And over here it was actually my team, and I think we got 24k for winning one round. So for 2 rounds you will actually get 48k. So if you win both rounds, you also win the match, and then 48k, and you also get a bonus, and it will be 66 if you actually just win clean, so with 2 and the other teams actually 0. Now as you guys can see, the other teams, the second team got 12k, the other team got 7.5k. You can already imagine that if you are playing with 4 teams and you lose, then you will get a lot less than the winner. That's maybe a reason why playing with 2 teams is always better, because even though if you lose with 2 teams, you still get 12k. So that might be an advantage for playing with 2 large teams. Now another thing that's also important to keep in mind, for example, if you're playing with small teams and you're actually good, but you have a feeling that your teammates aren't really that good, or you don't know your teammates, it's actually easier to carry them. For example, if you're playing with 2 people, it's very easy to carry 1 person, but it's very hard to, for example, carry 6 people if you're playing with larger teams. So if you're actually good at the game and you don't really trust your teammates, or you're not really confident about your teammates, then it might actually be better to actually play in small teams, because that will actually boost up your win-loss ratio. But if you're getting used to the planes, if you're not that good at flying, then playing in bigger teams will actually be easier for you, because your team might help you to actually get that dub. And even though if you lose, you still get 24k. So if you're confident about yourself, play in smaller teams. If you're not that confident, play in larger teams. Of course, if you're not the host, you can't really decide, and you just have to be kind of lucky that you have a good team. Also, as I said, with the team balancing, if the team balancing is off, then the larger team most of the time will win, and that's of course kind of sucky. So that's why I really recommend you guys to maybe host it yourself, or maybe ask the host, send them a message to actually turn on team balancing. If they're nice enough, they will do it. So at the end of the round, I actually managed to win it with my team, of course, and we actually got 66k for winning 2 games, each game taking 5 minutes, so each round taking 5 minutes, and that's actually 66k for 2 times 5 minutes, and that's 10 minutes. So that's actually pretty decent. If you multiply that by 6, so 6 times 66, it will be something around 400k, and that's actually 400k in 1 hour. Now the second place, they didn't get a bonus, so they just got 2 times 12, they got 24k, and if you multiply that by 6 again, in 1 hour they still get 150k. So if you always manage to either place first or second, you actually get between 150 and 400k per hour. Now it could also be that you of course win 1 round, then lose 1, and then win, then it will be a little bit different, but you will always be between 150k and 400k an hour. If you always place 3rd or 4th, of course, if you're playing with teams, then it will be less, of course, but I think that you guys can actually manage to always get 2nd or 1st place. So I actually think that it's a decent and actually pretty good grind. So over here we were playing Stockpile 2 with the Pyro. It's also a very good way to actually test out some planes, because the planes that you have in the Stockpile mode are actually pretty good as well. So with 2 teams, you just have both of your bases right across to each other. So with the 4 teams, you actually have them kind of in a square, so it's actually easier. And I just wanted to show you guys over here, the teams weren't really balanced, but I still got 24k because I was 2nd 2 times, so it's still decent, you could say, for 10 minutes. And the thing that I want to show you guys, as I said, it could be that you're actually still good, but that you still lose. Over here I was actually top of the table, so I had the best stats, but I still lost because my team wasn't that good, and also the team wasn't balanced. So now a couple of tips for you guys. So this is, by the way, the Stockpile 3 with the Molotov, and you can't use custom airplanes, just so everyone just has stock. Now a couple of tips. When you're playing with 2 teams, it's very important that you always actually try to protect your base as well. If you don't do that, it's just going to be a switch around from both teams. So they take 1, you take the 1, they take 1, you take 1. And if the other team is actually with 1 player more, like it was in this game actually as well, because I was still in the same lobby, they will just win. So try to protect your base as well. An easy way to protect your base is, as I said, if you are carrying a flag, you will have a smoke trail behind you. So if you see someone getting out of your base with a smoke trail, you know they stole something. So try actually going behind them, because if you fly behind another plane, it's very easy to actually lock on them and kill them. The cooldown on the countermeasures also has a big effect. Of course, they actually have to wait like 1 minute before they can actually use it again. So if you just fire a couple of missiles, you can easily kill them. So that's also a very important thing. Don't just focus on only getting the flags, also focus on actually protecting your base, because that can actually win you the game. So that's a very important thing. Either you're playing with 4 teams or 2 teams, always try to protect your team as well. So now another thing, this is actually if you're playing with 4 teams. If you're playing with 4 teams, actually only steal from the 2 bases that are actually close to your base. So as I said, it's in a square, so you have 1 base across from yours, and you have 1 to the left and 1 to the right. Try to steal from the ones that are close to you, because then you can actually steal faster, and then you will actually be at your own base back faster, and that will actually save you a lot of time. And it's of course whoever can steal the fastest also wins at the end. And that's pretty much it, guys. As I said, yeah, protect your base as well, so don't be kind of selfish and just try to get as much flags to your base as well, because it has no point if they just steal the ones that you just brought. So actually try to protect them as well. Also, in the beginning, all of them are in the middle, so it's very easy to collect them. So just pick up the ones that are closest and bring them back, so you can actually pick up a lot. Also, sometimes people actually get killed and then they just drop their flag on the spot, so those packages are also very easy to pick up and get back to your base. So if you see them on the map, there will just be a yellow package without a colored edge around them. You can also pick them up very easily, because people actually don't mind those packages that much. They are actually more focused on the stealing. So guys, that was pretty much it. As I said, if you play with 2 teams, then your earnings will probably be a little bit higher if you're not that good, to be honest, because then it will always be between the 150-400 range. But if you're actually good and confident about yourself and you think, yeah, I'm good, try to find a lobby that does it with 4 teams, because then it's actually easier to carry your team kind of, and then it's easier to take the dubs, and then you will get closer to that 400k per hour. And yeah, 66k in 10 minutes is actually very decent. If you guys have some questions about tips, you can ask me in the comment. I actually played it for like an hour, I think, and I actually 1 hour was actually 6 games exact. I actually had the raw clip. It was 1 hour and it actually was exactly 6 games, so it's actually almost every time 10 minutes per game, since the team that usually wins the first round is always also the better team, and they usually win the second round as well, but that's not always the case. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. One important thing, of course, make sure that team balancing is on, or else you will lose even though you were better. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to try this out, guys. It's a very fun way to try out some planes, and it's also pretty fun to play as well. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and peace out, you guys.